Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Buzz on the MHRT network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments, my co-host in just a second, as well as your comments in the chat. I am your host, Bronco Bill. We don't have Spence tonight, but we do have Madungus Creevy. Reason why we don't have
Hi.
the heck. The reason why we don't have Spence tonight is because he
Neighborhood. Oh, I'm sorry.
celebrating his 10th year anniversary. So he felt it more important to treat her to a nice dinner. I'm not going to tell you where. I do know where, but I'm not going to say where.
Burger King.
No, Jack in a Box. Anyways,
I'm just saying I did a show on my anniversary. I'm just going to throw that out there.
but you're 2 hours ahead of us. So you could have had your dinner anniversary and everything.
Why do you have to explain it? Huh, Bill? Why do you have to explain it?
Just saying. Just
You
saying.
have to explain it.
Anyway, Spence, have a wonderful time. I hope you're enjoying your dinner and your time out with your lovely wife, Anna. Have a fantastic time. We'll see you next
To
week.
alcohol.
Mike's on a roll. By the way,
Had to give me the control.
if this kind of seems like it's a neighborhood, you're right. Mike is already in rare form. No doubt about it. How was your day, man?
Pretty good. Just sitting here drinking some Mountain Dew, eating some Starburst jelly beans. You know, super healthy stuff.
Starburst jelly. Starburst makes jelly beans?
Yeah.
Starburst?
Yeah.
I
Skittles
thought,
does
jelly,
too.
I thought jelly beans were made by Jelly Bean.
No.
Oh.
There's more than one kind of jelly bean, you old fart.
I don't know. I just get the. Oh, do you like the licorice ones? Those are nasty.
No. No.
Yeah.
Licorice
like
is okay unless it's black licorice. I don't like black licorice.
No, I don't like it either. I don't need it. But is it really licorice if it's not black?
I'm not going to answer that question. Just move on. I'm not. I was trying to come up with something to say. I had
Yeah. Oh my
I had
gosh.
nothing to do on that one. We're
I
just
just-
gonna.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I just realized what I said, man. I just realized.
I'm just gonna keep eating my
Oh
jelly beans.
God,
and
we
move
lost half the audience already. They're like, this ain't no Bronco Buzz. This is a freaking Broncos neighborhood, even though
Yeah,
there's no game.
on with no game.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's jump into the chat real quick. David Yonkin says, evening, everyone. The answer to is absolutely pay the man, talking about the main topic, which is will Zach Allen get an extension? Says you have some people saying no, but if it wasn't for Allen, Benito might not have gotten all the sacks. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, it's the same thing with Derek Wolfe, right? Like if Derek Wolfe hadn't have played where he played and how he played, Von Miller wouldn't have gotten as many sacks either. Like
Sure.
Derek Wolfe.
Well,
was
not
the
only Derek
reason-
Wolfe, but the other guy that we got from Dallas. What was his name?
Good Lord.
He was on the Super Bowl team. Come on.
Hold on. I see his face. It's there. Why can't I think of it?
Who was it?
Marcus Ware. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. DeMarcus. No.
Good Lord.
Oh, no. Holy
I said-
smokes, dude. I thought you were on your anniversary.
I am on my anniversary. Just wanted to check in with you guys. Hope you're doing well. Getting ready to go celebrate. So have a great show and enjoy it. And don't get too comfortable in there, Madungus.
I don't plan on it, but I do want to play one thing for you. Just
Okay.
for your anniversary. Did you think I'd do anything different?
That was
You
great,
mean-
man.
You mean part 2?
Part two. Oh,
Okay, once again, I'm going to just keep eating my Starburst jelly beans and move on from that one.
You guys have a great show. Take
hey,
care.
hey, real quick. He said, David Young said, you're going in the doghouse, dude.
No, I live in the doghouse. That's my residence.
Oh,
Just the last comment you made, and then you'll be fine.
There you go, man. Spence, have a wonderful evening, man. We will talk to you during the week, and we'll see you next Friday, man.
Take care. Have a
Congratulations
great
to
show,
you and
guys.
Anna.
Thanks for stepping in, Madungus.
Always.
See ya. Cool. That was cool. That was a little surprise thing. He's still at home, obviously. So nothing's taking place there. So, anyways, let's go to the very first topic. Want to get the bad stuff out of the way first, obviously. But to me, this had to happen. Here it is. The Denver Broncos have fired linebacker coach Michael Wilhoit after he was accused of assaulting a police officer, per Mike Kliss. I brought this in my Jackass of the Week last week or the week before. Anyway, Sean Payton said, and I quote, "We recognize the serious nature of the allegations against him and believe this is the best course of action at this time," end quote. Should the Broncos have ever hired him in the first place? Didn't they do a background check? Now, I know that obviously this is probably his only time he's done this, but isn't there a way to check and see about somebody's type of mannerisms or demeanor around people? I don't know what perpetrated this. I don't know what caused this. I don't know if they had a bad day, but it doesn't matter. You just got to get rid of. My problem with this is now, after having a great season with the Broncos, rookie quarterback Bo Nix, playoff for the first time in 9 years or 8 years, now we have to go back and look for another linebacker coach. This carousel's got to stop.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, like, you're never gonna, if he hasn't done anything wrong to start out with, like, there's no reason not to hire him. He was a good coach, and I have no problem with the hire. My issue is that they didn't fire him sooner. Like, there are certain things that I understand you have to wait and you have to investigate and find out if it's true. But this is pretty clear that there's body cam footage, there's patrol car footage, like, there's cameras everywhere. We know it happened. Mm-hmm. We saw it happen. They shouldn't have waited 5 weeks to do it. They should have fired him on the spot. But
do you think that they want to err on the side of caution as opposed to maybe, no pun intended, shooting from the hip and just say, okay, you're fired, and then find out later on that there was reasons not to fire, perhaps? I mean, not in this situation, but I'm just saying in any situation.
That's what I'm saying. I think that there's certain things that you have to, certain accusations that you have to wait, you have to study, you have to investigate, you have to figure out what's going on, right?
Big point.
But this is one of those things where it's pretty obvious from the outset that you were in the wrong, and we know you were in the wrong, and they should have just fired him.
Right. I have to totally agree with David Yonkin here. The issue is he put the Broncos in a bad position. No doubt about it. Now they got egg on their face again. I mean, every single year for the past 8 or 9 years, we've had something catastrophic, whether it be a head coach that's getting fired like Hackett or something or other that just puts a bad look on the Broncos. I mean, like I said, we had a great season by comparison to the last 8, and now we got egg on our face again.
At least we're not as bad as the Chiefs coaches. So,
what do you mean by that?
Well, they like to get drunk, and they like to drive, and they like to.
Oh well, you're talking about the coach's son.
Yeah, just that one, and then there's like 3 other ones that got fired. Then there's players that got caught doing marijuana, and then there's players that speed and race down the interstate, ram into a bunch of people, and then have a bunch of weapons in their trunk. Like, at least we're not that bad.
But we're on the right path, right? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
We can all aspire to be just like the Chiefs.
Well, they've won how many? Well, they've won what? They've been to the Super Bowl. They've won the division 7 years in a row, 6 or 7 years in a row. They've been to the Super Bowl 4 times, I believe. Saying, man. Oh, LTB Moose. Hey guys, I said, what's up, man? Nice to have you. David Yonkin said,
I'm not sure who that is. It's either Mario, Bree, Joey, or Zach. It's one.
Why do you say that?
I'm not sure. I'm not going to fall for the Joey picture.
Broncos. Oh, let's talk Broncos.
I'm going to find out who you are.
Let's talk Broncos. That's what it is. David Youngkin says, I don't think it put egg on their face. It's the same people.
Some people shouldn't drink.
Right. Well, true, but I don't know. It just seems like it happens every year for the last several years. And I'd rather have the Broncos fly under the radar than be right smack dab in the middle of the radar. I don't like that. All right. Now, interesting question, Mike. Here we go. After the New York Jets released Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams has faced the same result. Adams was released this week, and would he be a good fit in Denver opposite Cortland Sutton?
No.
Why?
Diva.
But if he's a great athlete, can't you overlook that? Can't Sean Payton? What do you mean no?
So there are certain things that the Broncos are trying to build around, right? Like you look at the culture of the Denver Broncos. There aren't really any locker room divas. There aren't any locker room cancers. Like everybody gets along. Everybody loves the coaching staff. Everybody loves the city of Denver. It's more about the team winning than that individual person winning, right?
Sure.
Davante Adams is the opposite. Davante Adams would come in and it's me first. I want what I want. You're going to do what I want.
So why did he work out in Green Bay?
Because he wanted to stay with Aaron Rodgers. They weren't giving him the ball enough. He wasn't playing as well as he was without Aaron Rodgers. So he decided to make his way out of Green Bay so he could go play with Aaron Rodgers again.
In the Jets, but he didn't do all that well. Well, he had decent numbers.
Then he went to the Raiders to play with Derek Carr, and how did that turn out?
Not good.
Okay, so then he left to go with Aaron Rodgers. How did that work out?
A lot better. Not spectacularly, but he had an okay season. Not spectacular, but the Jets are the Jets. What do you expect? Yet you still had Nathaniel Hackett. It was basically Green Bay shifting to New York when it came to those three.
Way more receivers that I would rather have than Davante Adams. Somebody else can deal with Davante Adams.
So, rumor has it Davante Adams is on the number one target of the Chargers. Do they get him?
I don't know.
And would he fit in? And would he fit in with Harbaugh? I mean, Harbaugh is crazy guy.
This was, and I saw this on, I think it was Locked On Packers. I was watching that podcast. It popped up on my TikTok feeds. I was watching.
See, he's really a Packer fan, guys. That's what he's telling you.
Says the Charger fan. If you want to play this game, I've got a picture. Okay. But what he was saying was, Devontae, listen, I'm telling you right now, I will throw this up so that everyone on the face of the planet can see. See, I have a picture. I come with receipts, Bill. So what he was saying was, when you had Davante Adams in Green Bay, he was the number one receiver in Green Bay. He was one of the main reasons why they were winning in Green Bay. If he has a choice to make, right? Mm-hmm. He can either continue to be a mercenary wide receiver where he goes to a team that's already loaded and then tries for a Super Bowl, right? So let's say he goes to right?
As long as Mike doesn't call me a Raider fan.
Let's say that Davante goes to the Chargers and the Chargers win a Super Bowl. Who's going to get credit for them winning the Super Bowl?
Davante Adams.
Justin Herbert and Harbaugh. Those are going to be the ones that get especially Harbaugh. They're going to be the ones that get the credit for winning the Super Bowl, right? Let's say that Davante goes to the Rams. Who's going to get credit for the Rams winning the Super Bowl? It's going to be Matt Stafford. It's going to be the coach, who's Sean McVay. Like, they're going to be the ones that get the credit. If he wants to go to a team and win a Super Bowl and get credit for turning that team around to get to the Super Bowl, he needs to go back to Green Bay.
Wow.
And I'm not a Packers fan, but think about it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
If you want to go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl and get credit for being the one that got to the Super Bowl and won it, you got to go to a team that actually needs you.
Is he would he mesh the same way with Jordan Love that he did with Aaron Rodgers?
He was already on the team with Jordan Love. He
I
was
know,
there
but
when they drafted him.
But you said he didn't do well after Rodgers left. So
He
what?
didn't play
What
with
would
Jordan
change?
Love.
Well, that's my question. Do you think he would play as well with Jordan Love as he did with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, because Jordan Love is not a horrible quarterback.
Okay. Okay. But Jordan Love is no Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is a Tom Brady by any stretch of the imagination. But
Especially
I don't
not
think
anymore.
Well, true.
I mean, there's two options, right? If Devontae wants to go play with the quarterback he likes.
Where'd you hear that, David? He said Adam said he will play for two quarterbacks, Rodgers or Derek Carr.
So if he wants to play with Derek Carr, his option is what?
Raiders.
Saints.
No, I mean Saints. Carr's in the Saints now.
Which would make sense. You have
but
Chris Olave.
But the Saints aren't that good. But then
But
to your point,
because they're in a bad division.
But to your
He's
point,
going to go play with Derek Carr. You take Devontae Adams, pair him with Alvin Kamara, and pair him with Chris Olave. Now you've got something.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. Okay. So basically what you're saying is rumor has it that Devontae Adams is the Chargers have targeted him as number one in the free agency right now for wide receiver. You're saying that's not going to happen.
Well, and if he wants to go just for the money, then yes, it makes sense. Like he would go to the Chargers. But now he's having to spend the year getting used to Justin Herbert, and he doesn't have that many years left. He's an older wide receiver. So if he wants to just go into a system he's familiar with a quarterback he's familiar with, you got to think that the Saints are the team he's going to go to, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Speaking, or is that? Hang on.
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
Well, I don't know either yet. Hang on. What do you mean it makes sense? Hush up. I know what I'm doing.
Shut your mouth.
You shut your mouth, boy. Hang on. I think I got. Here it is. Here it is. This is perfect. Speaking of Devontae Adams, and leads me right into speaking of the Raiders. Okay, here we go. Denver Broncos backup quarterbacks Zach Wilson and Jared Stidham are both free agents. However, Zach Wilson may not be for long. Raiders reporter Vincent Bonjnor, I don't know what his name is. Anyways, announced that the name
Vincent Bond.
Vincent Bond Signor. That's what it says.
0069.
Anyways, announced that the name Zach Wilson has been talked about a lot in the Raider building to be their next quarterback. Update. Scratch that.
Wow.
The Raiders have just traded for Geno Smith from Seattle. That brings me to this. Per Adam Schefter, listen to this. As Sam Darnold is set to become a free agent next week, which I'll get into, he now is expected to have another option available to him. The Seattle Seahawks, who are trading Geno Smith to the Raiders, puts Sam Darnold at the Seahawks' top position. Do you agree?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's the best free agent that's out there, quarterback-wise.
Okay, but what does that do to the Minnesota Vikings? You're going to bring in a J.J. McCarthy who didn't play all last year because he had a catastrophic injury?
Listen, if the Vikings wanted to keep Sam Darnold, they should have signed him before he hit free agency. Now, he's not a free agent yet, right? Like he will be, but they have like 4 days to figure it out. They should have signed him a while ago.
Well, they said they were not going to franchise tag him because the amount that they would have to franchise tag him was above where they wanted to be. So they had no choice but to let him go and allow him to be a free agent. But the problem that I have with that, Vikings being my NFC team, problem I have with that is who in heaven's name is the backup for J.J. McCarthy, and is he even going to be able to be the quarterback, the franchise quarterback that they wanted when they drafted him at number 11 after that catastrophic injury?
I mean,
I mean,
you have,
okay,
you
let
have
me
to think
let me
so.
put it to you this way: what if that was Bo Nix? What if Bo Nix had suffered that kind of injury? How would you feel going into not having a quality, proven quarterback, and all you got is Bo Nix with that type of injury? Heaven forbid that happens.
Well, but we had capable backups. I just don't know who the back. Do you know who the backup is?
I have no idea who the backup is for Minnesota.
Hold on, let me see
Oh,
if I
I
can-
know who it is. It's the guy who came in a couple of years ago. Or was it? No, yeah, a couple of years ago. He did rather well. He did rather well. I don't remember his name per
Wasn't
se,
it
but
that? Oh, they have Daniel Jones,
yeah, Daniel, that's what I was thinking of.
but isn't he a free agent too?
That I don't know. But
All right, let me look.
here's the twist to the whole JJ McCarthy thing that I read. Per the Viking reporters. The Vikings are scared to death that the Viking brass, that is, that if they kept Sam Darnold and made him the starting quarterback, seeing how JJ McCarthy would work into with his injury and coming back and all that, JJ McCarthy said, if you drafted me at number 11, if I'm not the starting quarterback, I may want to seek a trade.
Daniel Jones is a
That's
is a
crazy.
free agent.
Okay, well then there you go. That doesn't bode well for the Vikings, in my opinion. I mean,
I still think that. Okay, so Landon and I were having this conversation the other day. I still think it would be stupid for Sam Darnold to go somewhere else. You had the best season you ever had in Minnesota. Why would you? I understand you want more money, but why would you go somewhere to try to prove yourself again when you could stay in Minnesota, buy yourself 2 or 3 years while JJ McCarthy develops, and then you can move on somewhere else? I mean, it would be just like.
But McCarthy would have to be the starting quarterback.
Not if they have Daniel Jones.
Huh?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Vikings. JJ McCarthy would have to be the starting quarterback if Sam Darnold stayed on team.
Why?
Because McCarthy said that if you drafted me at number 11 and you're not going to play me, and after I already missed the first season, I'm wasting my rookie year sitting behind somebody and not even playing. So I want to go somewhere where I can play.
But he needs to develop, and a rookie's not going to force himself out of a team. Sorry. He's not going to force himself into a trade.
So you think that was just agent talk?
Pretty much.
Okay. Wow.
What?
David talks Broncos. Aaron Jones needs to be a Bronco.
Down.
Down what? You're
down
down for that?
Want him. Aaron Jones or Nick Chubb?
You want either one of them?
Either one. And the reason I say that.
But you've told me many times that Nick Chubb isn't the same guy he was when he came in.
Because he's been injured, but when he's healthy, he's the same guy. Now, when you look at the Broncos, right?
Mm-hmm.
This last year, the Broncos changed their medical staff. They changed their medical personnel. And Denver had the best medical staff in the NFL as far as keeping players on the field not injured. Like, it's the first season in forever that we've been able to do that. So if you take a Nick Chubb who consistently has medical issues and put him with the best medical staff in the NFL, I think you get a full season out of him. Plus, you put him in a rotation, right? So let's say that Denver goes and drafts a running back high. Let's say Ashton Genty. Let's say Omarion Hampton. Let's say they go and get the guy out of Iowa. His name is eluding me right now. Caleb Johnson. Let's say they go get Caleb Johnson. Now you have a rotation of running backs instead of putting everything on Nick Chubb.
Ooh, David's throwing this at you, Mike. He says, I'm not interested in any free agent running back. We need fresh legs.
This is what I'll say to that. I completely understand where you're coming from. But history has shown that George Paton fills his needs in free agency and then goes best player available in the draft.
You mean Sean Payton or George Payton?
George Paton.
Okay.
Payton.
Right.
George Paton.
Got it.
Our GM.
Right.
Has shown that he fills the team's needs in free agency.
Got it.
And then drafts the best player available.
I know this
So
is
that means to me that they're going to bring in a wide receiver. They're going to bring in a tight end. They're going to bring in a defensive tackle. They're going to bring in a running back.
Look at that. David's giving you props, man. David Talks Broncos says, I'm not a big Nick Chubb guy, but you make a strong argument for him.
I mean, when Nick Chubb was healthy, he was the best running back in the NFL. I don't even think it was close. Now, obviously, we have Saquon and Philly, but Nick Chubb would be like, at healthy, would be like top 3. Why would you not want to take a flyer on that guy? He's going to be cheap because of the injury history. He's getting up there in age, so you're going to get him for 2, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
And then you go and you draft one.
But then that brings me to this point. You're saying, okay, he's got injuries, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I totally understand the injuries. Do you take a chance on a guy who's been injured like that?
Well, everybody's hooping and hollering for Cooper Kupp. He's got an injury history too.
True. And didn't Saquon Barkley have a bunch of injuries and then he goes to Philadelphia?
Saquon Barkley had a bunch of injuries at the Giants, and then he runs for 2,000 yards in Philly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand he has injury history, right? But that's the kind of guy you would go and take a 2-year flyer contract on, right? You go and pay him $8 to $10 million a year. Why not? See what he's got. We know what we're getting with Javonte. Don't want Javonte. We know McLaughlin is staying. So draft a running back, get a salty veteran to bring in, and we'll call it good.
How about that? Pick 2 running backs and sign one, says David Talks Broncos.
It depends, because you still have Watson down there. You got McLaughlin. You have, Estime. You have, who's the other one we're forgetting? There was one more they brought in the last game of the season. No, there's one they brought in the last game of the season.
Broncos did?
Yeah, he played instead of.
Oh, yeah, he played instead of Estime. You're right, and you were pissed off.
I was. I still am. I don't remember who it is, but they brought him in, and they didn't play him. I'm just saying, like right now, you have Estime, who still needs to prove himself. You got McLaughlin. So if you bring in a rookie and you bring in a free agent, you got to have 4 running backs.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. David Yonkin says Peyton is good in the draft, but not good in free agency. Alex Smith, thanks for chiming in. Alex in the chat says Peyton brought in Zach Allen, David, and I think he's been doing good in free agency lately. So now we got a controversy. David said not good in free agency.
Jonathan Franklin Myers, Zach Allen, Cody Barton. He brought in hold on, I'm going to get there. He brought in Mike McGlinchey. He brought in Ben Powers. He brought in hold on.
Are those guys all still here?
He brought in he brought in Brandon Jones. He brought in I'm not going to say that name because he sucks.
It says Roach right here. I think Peyton was
Malcolm Roach.
With Roach.
He got DJ Jones. Like, there's lots of guys he brought in. That doesn't even make any sense.
Okay. All right. Just threw that out there. They're in the chat, so want to bring that in. Speaking.
Now, do I think that that's the best we can do? No. I just think that he was able to bring in players that fit the system that would play well. And once we add in those all-stars,
we'll
be good to go.
Y'all, David Talks Broncos says, y'all blame Fangio and Hackett for part of that. He's been great with Sean Payton. He's been great as long as Sean Payton's been here. Do you agree?
I think Sean Payton's been fantastic. You know who I blame for all of the stuff before that?
George Payton?
John Elway.
The Hall of Fame
quarterback. I'm sorry.
Max Super Bowl champion. How dare you say that? You just spit vinegar.
Bill, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
John Elway was instrumental in bringing in Peyton Manning, right?
Yep.
After Peyton Manning retired and we won the Super Bowl, what did John Elway do?
His hands were tied, in my opinion, because of the trust.
The trust had nothing to do with bringing in
But
players.
it was who was the guy that was in charge? Who was in charge of the trust? What was his name?
Ellis.
Joe Ellis. Joe Ellis handcuffed John Elway, in my opinion.
No. Joe Ellis had an issue with the coaches that Elway wanted to bring in. I'm talking the players. Like, who did Elway bring in player-wise that contributed to the Broncos winning in those
Von
years
Miller.
after the Super Bowl?
Oh,
that was
Brian
before.
Von Miller. Yeah, that's true.
After the Super Bowl, what did he do?
Ooh, there it is. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Elway did after Manning retired.
We had Paxton Lynch. That was fantastic.
No, it wasn't.
Like, I'm just saying that, and again, nothing against Elway, because like every GM at some point is going to struggle, is going to lose their job.
Oh.
It's just a thing that happens. All I'm saying is
David
yes,
Talks Bronco says Elway was not sober.
John Elway was instrumental in us winning Super Bowl 50.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it.
John Elway was instrumental in us winning the Super Bowl because he brought in Peyton, not because of any other move that he made, right?
Yep.
So once Peyton retired, we were left with the crap hole roster that he gave us, and we just couldn't build on it. Draft picks weren't working out, other than like Justin Simmons was a good one.
Yep.
That's all I can think of right now. So I'm like, every player that, like, take Patrick Surtain, right? Best corner in the league, all pro, Pro Bowler, like defensive player of the year, Sean Payton. Not sure, George Payton. Sorry, George Payton.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody wanted Justin Fields. He took Patrick Surtain.
I want Patrick Surtain. That's who I wanted. I wanted that from the beginning. Speaking along the line of free agents like crazy, Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, are releasing cornerback Darius Slay. Oh my gosh. Slay would save the Eagles $4.3 million if he is a post-June 1st release. I would love Darius Slay opposite PS2. That would just solidify the Broncos corners big time. You got to agree, right?
I don't disagree. Here's my only issue. I love the idea of Patrick Surtain and Darius Slay, but then the question becomes, what do you do with where'd it go? I had his name in my head and now it's gone.
The corner?
Yeah, the corner. Riley Moss. There we go. I was thinking Riley Scott. I'm like, that's not it. Riley Moss. What do you do with Riley Moss? What do you do with
put him in certain situations like a nickel or a dime or whatever other kind of
But we already have a nickel.
Okay, well, what I'm saying, but would you rather have a Riley Moss instead of a Darius Slay? Now, I don't know how many years Darius Slay has left, but he is a top Pro Bowl corner. You cannot pass on that, man. You can't. I mean, can you imagine shut down corners on both sides of the field? Oh my gosh. That just
all I'm saying is you have just checking my phone here. You have Riley Moss, who showed that he can be that number 2 guy. Like, he was a good corner. You also have Chris Abrams-Drain, who was a rookie.
But
Moss
Moss didn't really produce, in my opinion, the last couple of games. Now, sure, against the Chiefs,
off the injury.
Well, again, I know he's coming off injury, but if you had him as a backup, let's say, or a fill-in guy or whatever in certain packages, and you had a Darius Slay, well, then he could come in and supplement. But I wouldn't want him all the time. Clayton Herron, what is up, dude?
But you're also forgetting Jaquan McMillan.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So now you have Pat Surtain, you have Riley Moss, you have Chris Abrams-Drain, and you have Jaquan McMillan. Where does Darius Slay go?
I don't know.
Because Jaquan McMillan was the guy in the slot that was playing fantastic.
Right.
Riley Moss, up until he got injured, was playing
Decent.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Chris Abrams-Drain, when he came in, played fantastic. So it's not that I wouldn't want Slay. The question is, where does he go?
Yeah.
And is
True.
he better than what we currently have? Because he wasn't even the number one guy in Philly. That's why they let him go.
Well, sure. But he's not going to be, he wouldn't be the number one guy in Denver either. That's PS2.
Right.
One's
but
touching
would
that.
he be the number two?
I don't know. Have to
Because
find
now
out.
you're looking. So look at it this way, right? So let's say that Slay comes in as a rotational number 3 corner.
Mhm.
With the amount of money you're going to have to pay him, is that worth him being the number 3 rotational corner?
Yeah. Good point. I'd rather see him go to Denver than see him go to the Raiders or the Chargers or the Chiefs. That's for sure. Or anybody else we got to play. Clayton Huron, let me back up here. It says, smash that like button and share, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And as always, Clayton, you get me right here, man. It's a great way to top off a Friday night, guys. Thanks so much. Our pleasure, dude. Our pleasures. David Yonkin says the Broncos have room to get better, but we're on the right track. I know that,
I think out of all of the people that we can bring into Denver, I don't think Darius Slay is going to be at the top of the list.
Clayton says he's at his son's high school basketball game. He says we're down by 4 T or 4.
I'm assuming that's 4 points.
Okay. He's gonna say 40. I don't think the game at halftime down by 40. That's not good because I saw the 4 T. See what I'm saying?
See right here. I'd rather spend money on safety or linebacker. I'd rather spend money on defensive tackle.
Okay.
So, again, while I would not mind having Slay.
Do you agree with that? David says Slay's
that's what
not
I'm
a
saying.
game changer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. With the corners that we have, I don't know if he would really add anything other than in a rotation. So I don't know if he would or not. I mean, obviously, we're not going forward Levi Wallace anymore because, that was bad.
Do I bring up the last comment? Look at it.
I said, Crackerbacks, yeah.
Stand for white corners.
Cooper DeJean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I got permission from the boss, but Doug is, I guess, somewhat.
Yeah, if anybody's going to get mad at what he said, send it to me. And I will promptly ignore it. So it's fine.
Okay, we got another possible free agent the Broncos may be interested in. The Jacksonville Jaguars have released, and we need this guy or this position, tight end Evan Ingram per Adam Schefter. What do you think?
Pay him what he wants.
Huh?
Pay him whatever he wants.
Okay. Now, how many years does he have left?
What is he? 34?
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be long. Do you sign him to a 1-year deal? And you sign him to a 1-year deal with a 2-year option or 2nd-year option. You sign him for a little over minimum tight end or whatever. I mean, we need a tight end.
Evan Ingram is. Evan Ingram is 30.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, maybe have 2 or 3 more years.
4.
4 more years?
I'd sign him for 4. No, I'd sign him for 4.
Oh, okay. David has a good question for you. Which game changer on offense would you guys want?
Tyler Lockett.
Really?
Or Amari Cooper.
Not a Cooper Cup?
No.
Not a tight end
okay, I'll put it this way. I don't want anybody that we have to trade for, right? So until Cooper Cup is released, I don't want him because I don't want to trade anything for him.
Well, sure.
So for right now, I still think I would want Amari Cooper or Tyler Lockett above Cooper Cup.
Okay. How about this one? Clayton Huron says, guys, I still have high hopes for Franklin still.
Oh, Jonathan Franklin Myers or Troy
Jonathan Franklin. I'm pretty sure. No, I think I'm talking about the wide receiver, right?
That's Troy Franklin.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any rookies from last year that go anywhere. Like Troy Franklin started to get better. He started to figure out. I still believe in Troy Franklin. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I mean, you can use right now until we get. Okay, so.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
trying to
see
get
right
all,
down here it says Troy Franklin right there.
I'm trying to gather all the thoughts in my head. So when you look at Marvin Mims, right? Marvin Mims was one of the reasons why we weren't in on any Deebo Samuels talk, right? Because
Right.
Marvin Mims was the guy that played that position. He was that guy that would go and do the jet sweeps at running back. He's the guy that would go and do the jet sweeps at wide receiver. He's the one that would go deep and get behind the corners. That's what Marvin Mims was doing.
Right.
So if you're going to keep him, if you're going to keep Marvin Mims there, then Troy Franklin now becomes your deep threat, your big play wide receiver that's going to get behind the corner and catch those deep balls. Now you have Cortland Sutton, who's your 50-50 guy. Like, yes, right now on the Broncos, he's the number one receiver, but he's your 50-50 guy. He's your guy he's not going to burn the corners deep, but he's going to be able to get open, or at least open enough for him to go up and get the ball. Like we've seen Cortland Sutton make those circus catches, those catches that shouldn't be caught, and he made them.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, Amari Cooper and Tyler Lockett are those possession guys. They're the guys that are kind of like how Denver was using Tim Patrick.
What about DJ Metcalf?
No, DK Metcalf is a Cortland Sutton, but more expensive.
All right.
So if you look at how, and I'm not comparing any wide receiver to Tim Patrick. I'm just saying that Denver used Tim Patrick as that possession guy, the chain mover, the guy that you would throw the ball to on 3rd and 4th down when you need to get a first down. That's what Amari Cooper and Tyler Lockett are, but better.
Right. Okay.
So since we complained so much last year about not having that possession receiver like Tim Patrick, let's go get one.
I just noticed something. I'm not even focused in on here.
That's fine. We don't like to focus on you too much.
Not me. The background. There we go. They got the orange and blue. I just noticed that about halfway through the show. Anyways, David Talk Broncos said Jonathan Kinlaw or Tushawn Wharton at defensive tackle.
Ooh, I would take Kinlaw, but I still like BJ Hill.
Well, okay. Okay.
Exactly. Right. Nope. Hold on. This one right here.
Seahawks won a 1st and 3rd pick for DK. Ooh.
Nope. Not going to touch it.
No way. David Yonkin says, I would take Cooper over Adams, but I would take Kupp if he was cheap because he's a 3rd down guy.
Now, the one reason why I like Tyler Lockett so much is because he never gets hurt. He doesn't take a lot of hits. He goes down instead of getting smoked on a tackle, right? That's one reason why I love Tyler Lockett. He's your possession guy. He's going to fight for the ball, but he's not going to take a big hit, and he's going to stay on the field for you.
Now, this is not part of any of the topics that I have, but I'm throwing it out there because I just thought of it. Is there any player out there, not free agent, but any player out there that you would want to trade to get that one key quality guy? And if you did, who would you have to give up?
Oh.
Anybody in the chat come up with an idea? Throw it out there.
The bus here.
Anybody out there that is tradable? Keenan Allen is better than Lockett.
Keenan Allen is better than Lockett, but Keenan Allen is also another Cortland Sutton type. Keenan Allen is not your possession receiver.
All right, so
Keenan Allen is your big play receiver.
Okay, so let me change my question. If the Broncos want a true number one receiver, who out there would you trade for? And what would you have to give up?
Trade for?
Yeah, that's tradable out there if Denver needs or Denver wants to get a true number one receiver.
Ooh, that's available or just anybody? Like
no,
somebody that is open for a trade?
Yes. Because there's a couple of guys out there that say they want to be traded.
There's only 2 that I would want.
Who's that?
And then I think that are available.
Wow, look at that. David talks Broncos. He goes, I'd trade for Mark Andrews. I think the Ravens would save like $10 million if they moved off on him.
It wouldn't shock me if the Ravens release him. Just throwing that out there. Either Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins would be the only ones I'd want to trade for. It would be tough with T. Higgins because they just franchise tagged him.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd probably have to give up like a first-round draft pick or a player of that caliber. So I don't know if that's worth it. Brandon Ayuk, on the other hand, I think you'd probably have to give up. You're probably looking at a second and maybe a third on top.
Okay. Okay.
So probably Brandon Ayuk.
But so Denver wouldn't have to give up any players, just trade picks.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Are you ready for your very first ever buzzsaw?
Sure, why not?
Here we go. The LA Chargers have released Joey Bosa. Should Denver sign him to a 1-year deal with an option for a second?
No.
It's on you. But
No.
you got to elaborate.
And
You can't
the
just say
reason why.
one.
I'm getting there. I'm chewing my jelly bean. Leave me alone. All right. So you look at Joey Bosa and where he would play, right? Like you're either looking at him replacing Zach Allen, or you're looking at him replacing John Franklin Myers, or you're looking at him replacing Benito, or you're looking at him replacing Cooper, Jonathan Cooper. And I don't think at this point in his career, while he was great with the Chargers, as much as he's been hurt, and again, I don't really hold that against him because of our medical staff, but if you're looking at the productivity plus the price tag of Joey Bosa, I think we can get the exact same production out of someone that's already on the team. Like Zach Allen already gives us more than Joey Bosa would. Jonathan Franklin Myers would be able to do the exact same for less than Joey Bosa. If you're looking at Nick Benito, even Nick Benito, if he gets extended this year or a new contract this year, it's still going to be less than what we'd have to pay Joey Bosa. And Jonathan Cooper, while he's not at the level of Nick Benito, for the price that we have Jonathan Cooper at, we can get close to the same production as Joey Bosa. So at this point, I don't think it's worth getting Joey Bosa, nor do I think he would ever want to come to Denver.
Wow. You wouldn't want to? With the chance to win a championship that he hasn't even sniffed
But why would he want to come to Denver if he has the option of going to San Francisco and playing with his brother?
Good point. Good point. Hey, I didn't think of
The
that.
Bosa Bros.
Bosa Bros. That's a good podcast. Bosa Bros. David Yonkin says no on the Bosa, no, because he has not played a full season because of injuries.
Well, and again, with the medical staff and the medical team that Denver has now, I'm not that concerned about that.
Wow. Richie Rich says Bosa can be better than Cooper, but now I'm not sure if he'd be better than Benito.
I don't disagree. And that's why I said Cooper would give us close to the same production, maybe not the same, but he's also a crap ton cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but you get what you pay for.
Right, but instead of wasting money on Joey Bosa, let's go spend that money on a defensive tackle. Let's go spend that money on a wide receiver. Let's go spend that money on Evan Ingram at tight end. Like, let's go get players we actually need instead of just a want. Bash them, Bosa Bros. There we go.
How about this one? David Todd Brown says, do you think we sign 2 new linebackers or keep Singleton and sign just 1?
Singleton's going to stay.
Okay.
But I think we sign one and we draft one.
Wow.
Because Cody Barton's a free agent, so he's not staying. And you got Drew Sanders that was listed at inside linebacker now. So it's Drew Sanders and Alex Singleton. So I think that we draft one and we sign one. I still think Nick Bolton is on the table.
Nick Bolton, okay.
He was the inside linebacker from the Chiefs.
Right. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, that's fair.
Also,
that's
I refuse
fair.
to bring in a dude who drinks Smirnoff. No to Bosa.
That's fair.
Oh, who about this one from David? I like Lavelle Bailey.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay too.
Okay. All right. Now, you were speaking of Nick Benito
Mm-hmm.
and possibility of a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Bonito had a solid season and in entering the final year of a 4-year, $5.8 million contract. DNVR's Zach Stevens reports that negotiations for Benito's multi-year extension will begin at, are you ready for this? Not 5.8 million, 23 mil a season.
Yep.
If he gets that contract, he would be the second highest paid player on the Broncos. Does Nick Bonito not only deserve it, but does he get it?
Yes. Sean and George Payton in their press conferences during the combine both said that the focus of this offseason is to re-sign Cortland Sutton and to re-sign Nick Bonito. Now, if they wait and they try to sign Nick Bonito next year, they're probably going to have to pay him 30 average.
Wow.
So
even if he has an off season, not
doesn't
the
matter. If they want to keep him, there's going to be a bidding war for him, and it's going to drive the price up. So if they don't sign him now, they're going to pay a crap ton more next year.
Do you think? There you go. Big shout out from Richie Rich says, I agree with Dungus. Do you think they get it done?
Yes.
This year?
Yes. Before the season starts.
Okay. Do you think that they get the Cortland Sutton deal done? Because remember, Cortland was thinking about holding out last year.
I think Sutton would be the first one they'd get done. And the reason why is because right now on his current contract, he has no guaranteed money. Right? So if he has no guaranteed money, he's already said that he would consider sitting out until he gets a new contract because there's no guaranteed money. So I think they work on Cortland Sutton first and then go after Nick Bonito's re-signing him.
Okay, makes sense. Now, on the heels of that, David throws in a twist question.
Oh, no, we're waiting on that one. We're going to do a whole episode on it when there's no football news. 5280 and Broncos buzz.
I can't say who's my least favorite Bronco of all time. I can say that now.
Save it.
I gotta
save it.
But David,
listen. After the draft,
I said he can't wait. See,
after the draft, what happens in football?
It goes kind of dormant.
Absolutely nothing until training camp, right?
Kind of.
So after the draft happens, the Broncos shows, and I'm not talking for all Broncos shows, but at least for the 5280 and for Broncos Buzz, we're going to do a show of instead of building our all-star Broncos team, we're going to list our 5 most hated Broncos players.
How come I'm just hearing about this for the first time?
Because I just came up with it in my head. I was thinking about doing it for the thinking about doing it for the 5280.
So I can't give David a little.
Don't say nothing.
Not even just one.
No, not even a little tickle. You give him nothing. Jerry Jeudy was a hoe.
Jerry Jeudy was a hoe. But my number one is still Melvin Gordon, probably.
I still Jerry Jeudy was a hoe. I love that. Hey, we need to put that in your tagline. Broncos Bill, Jerry Jeudy was a hoe.
Oh my gosh. Or anybody that really screws up, we've got to come up with like a little clip was my sister's a hoe or something like that. And then you just
I want to explain it to everyone right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if everybody understands what goes into making a show, but when you get to the point in the football season or the off season that there is nothing going on, there is literally nothing to talk about. So I'm taking your suggestions now, and we're going to save it for after the draft because we have like 8 shows to put on. I do hear voices.
But Douglas hears voices in his head, David says, David Youngkin.
Which is funny because I'm watching WWE SmackDown with Randy Orton, so that's kind of funny. But just so, Bill, now you know, sometime in like May, we're going to have that kind of show. Like your 5 least favorite or most hated Broncos ever.
We did talk about this, David, earlier. Thoughts on Geno to the Raiders. Mike, you want to rehash that?
I kind of want to take a different route on it, right? So we talk
Okay.
about Geno to the Raiders. So that, in my mind, means that they're going to draft a quarterback to learn behind Geno, right? Does that
But
make
who's
sense?
out there available that the Raiders would
Well,
want?
they're either going to go after Shedeur Sanders, who might be there at 6, or they could trade down and go for Jackson Dart. But the question I then have, and Bill and I are both super Raider haters. Like, we don't want the Raiders to be good
Hey,
at all.
I got a Raider coworker that watches the show.
That's fine. We hate
The Raiders. The Raiders are a hoe. How about that?
Johnny, I apologize. I'm so sorry. Just understand.
Right here.
that-
Just take this comment, but change the name. Las Vegas Raiders was a hoe.
So this is my question to you. If you have Geno Smith on the Raiders along with Pete Carroll, does that mean that the Raiders are now in line and ahead of the line for DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett?
Probably. I mean, you bring in somebody like Pete Carroll. He's got connections, obviously, with Geno Smith, and now you bring in Lockett. So it's going to be Seattle South, is what it's going to be.
Well,
Just
and DK
pretty much
Metcalf
like
was
it's
drafted by Pete Carroll.
right, and just like in some instances, it's the New Orleans Saints West or Northwest. Because of Sean Payton. What?
Get your directions, Bill. West, south, east,
North,
no, north,
northwest,
north central. Wait,
northwest. You got to go
2
west.
and 4 is 12. I don't know anymore. I'm just doing Bill
Doing
math.
You're doing Bill math. That sucks, dude. That sucks, man.
I heard
Yep, there you go.
Oops, sorry. I heard DK wanted out because of Geno.
Yeah.
It's interesting because they were shopping Geno
Yeah.
before DK.
Here we
I
go.
don't
David
know.
comes up with one. Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers ruining both New York teams?
Good. I hope he does.
He went to the Jets and ruined them, and now there's talk he may go to the Giants.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career is done. He just needs to retire and be done with it. Just stop.
But, I guess
He's 41 years old. He's not Tom Brady. He's not winning another Super Bowl. He's not going to a Super Bowl contending team.
No.
So just pack it in, man. Just go join Pat McAfee show and be done with it.
So now, so Travis Kelce's brother, what's his name?
Jason
Kelce. Jason Kelce asked Travis, "Why are you coming back for another year?" And I thought it was interesting. This is not on my notes, but it's on my top of my head. I found this interesting. Travis Kelce said he's coming back because the bad taste in his mouth of how he feels he let down the team. And he said,
I told you that after the Super Bowl. Like, Travis Kelce's not going to retire on that butt whooping. It's not going to happen. He'll come back.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting because there was a lot of people talking about him retiring or going to another team, or a lot of people had him going to Denver and all that kind of stuff. So does that make the Chiefs just as strong, or do you think he's lost a step?
I think he's lost a step, but I also think that the Chiefs are. He did.
But wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Go ahead and say your point, and I'll bring this up.
Well, I also think that the Chiefs are in trouble because they don't have a lot of cap room, and in order to keep the team as good as they had it last year, which wasn't the best, they have like 15 free agents, and they don't have the cap space to save them all and get new players. They have to do either or. They can't do both. So David, again, I told you at the end of after the Super Bowl, I think the Chiefs go 9-8 or 8-9.
Yep, I remember you saying that. So David Talk Broncos says Kelce gave up in the Super Bowl. My question is this to anybody out there, but primarily to you, Mike. Why would a player playing in the biggest game of their career, albeit they've been there before, it still is new every year? Why would a player give up? What would the point of that be?
I think it depends on what you're defining as giving up, right? Like, if you look at what happened with Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl, there were a couple examples of Patrick Mahomes is getting flushed out of the pocket, and instead of continuing to block his guy, Travis Kelce just stood there. There were like 3 plays. And one of the ones that I'm referencing is Patrick Mahomes scrambled out of the pocket, was trying to find somewhere to throw it, couldn't. Travis Kelce just standing there. And eventually the guy that Travis Kelce was blocking is the guy that tackled Mahomes.
Right.
And he just stood there. So I'm not saying like he gave up the whole game. Like he still wanted to win. But at that point, they were getting their butts kicked so bad that I think he was just like, well, he's not coming to me. So
how about this one? This is interesting. We're not supposed to be betting on sports. I wonder how much money did Kelce have on the game?
0.
Yep. I would say 0.
I'm
maybe his brother,
taking,
or not a brother, but maybe a cousin or something.
Maybe his, well, I don't even know if Jason could. Because
technically
cousin. He's still on the broadcasting team for either NFL or Fox. He's on the broadcasting team, so he wouldn't be able to bet on games either.
Right.
But no, Travis Kelce would never bet on games and risk getting punished like that.
Right. All right, Mike. Very last topic of the show. Are you ready?
Thank God.
Wow, it's been that bad? Damn, I thought you missed the neighborhood. This is kind of like the neighborhood, just a little scaled down. Kind of like it.
Oh, I can scale it up if you'd like.
Oh, I bet you could. You got a whole lot of them props in there. Those videos. The main topic is, will Zach Allen get an extension? That happens to be the last topic.
I thought we already talked about that. It was like the first thing we talked about.
I'm going to read it anyway, doggone. I got to hear him reading. Zach Allen, defensive end, is looking to turn a strong 2024 season into a new contract. Allen has 1 year left. No, that was the other guy. Allen has 1 year left on a 3-year deal he signed in 2023. He's set to make $12.74 million per Chris Thomason of the Denver Gazette. Allen is looking for a raise, listen to this, that would put him in the neighborhood of $25 million per season. If that's said, and you've got the other guy we're trying to sign, Benito, for $23 million, that's pushing the envelope quite a bit on the Broncos cap. Allen will turn 28 this summer and feels he can continue to perform at the high level of he did last season. He had 61 tackles and 8.5 sacks in 2024. Does he get $25 million a year?
Yes.
And we give Benito 23.
You also have to remember, like, their average yearly salary, right? Or their annual salary. That's not, you don't add those numbers to get the cap hit, right? Because you have to take out guarantees, you have to take out incentives, all that, right?
Okay.
So just because he's getting $25 million a year, like on average, his cap hit might only be like 8, 9, 10 million.
Okay.
Now you look at Zach Allen and you look at Max Crosby. Like, I'm not comparing the two, but I'm saying you look at Max Crosby's contract.
Oh yeah, he signed with the Raiders
just
too.
Signed, and
That's
Zach
huge.
Allen signing a contract to 23 to 25 puts him top 20 maybe on edge rushers. And I mean, edge rushers are going to start getting paid like quarterbacks. They are that valuable. So is Zach Allen worth $25 million a year? Absolutely.
How many years?
I would go 4.
With the option for 5 or just solid 4?
You only get an option for 5 on a rookie contract.
Oh, so
it'd have to be 4.
Okay, so how much guaranteed?
On 25,
that's 100. That's 100
okay.
mil, dude.
25, so it'd be 100 mil. So I'd probably offer 45
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Nick Benito? 23 mil. How many years?
4.
Okay. So now you're just below 100 mil. How much is guaranteed?
And then I'd probably go 35 to 40.
So you're locking Allen and Benito in the Broncos up to the a year 2028.
Yep.
25 to 6 to 7, 28. Yeah, you can't count 25. So up to 2028. Does that strap the Broncos with cap space because they still got the Russell Wilson hit for another year?
No, because what'll happen is by the time we get to 2028, they're going to want to try to restructure. So basically, restructure is you take some of that yearly salary and you guarantee some of it, right? So that makes your cap hit less. So instead of having like a $22 million cap hit that season, they'll guarantee 10 of it and it'll drop it down to 12.
Okay. All right. Now, Rich has a good one. He said perhaps 3 years.
I think
with
three
a
with
fourth year option.
Yeah, I think 3 with Allen works, but I think you have to lock down Benito for 4.
Okay. Now,
because there's an age difference there.
Right. Now, if that's the case, do the Broncos have room to sign draft picks?
Yes.
How much cap space do we have?
I think general managers in general always have like 8 to 12 million set aside just for draft picks. So they take their cap space, they subtract 8 to 12, and then they can't touch that. So yes,
can't touch it.
The bigger question is,
can't touch this.
How much cap space are we going to have to sign free agents? And I think that's all going to come down to how we either restructure or re-sign Benito, Allen, and Sutton. I think that they're going to want to take a lower cap hit this year until we're done paying for Russell Wilson, and then have the bigger cap hits later.
Okay. Makes sense. You got anything else before we wrap this up? It's been a great show, man. I've had a good time with you.
Jerry Jeudy was a hoe. That's all I got to say. Now, free agency. So technically you can't sign players until Wednesday. But free agency, you're allowed to talk to players on Monday. So next week is going to be very interesting. We're going to have a lot of news to talk about, especially your show on Friday, because you'll be at the tail end of it, so we can recap everything. But I just want to leave everyone with the thought. Jerry Jeudy was a hoe.
Oh, God. That is fantastic. Guys.
No, go ahead.
Dreamweaver, what is up? He says, boys, so excited for free agency. I agree. Absolutely agree. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I just don't want any Broncos gone, of any magnitude, that's for sure. Anyways, while Mike is doing whatever Mike's doing, I am going to say, oh, shoot, I didn't do this.
Oh, shiitake mushrooms.
I said I have to do this. I said I was going to do it at the beginning of the show, and I blew it. I have to have my granddaughter. Like, guys, I want you guys to all look at this, okay? My granddaughter, who's 8 years old, drew this the other day. If you look down here, right down here, it says cool. And then right here, it says awesome. But this is what I really like. If I can get it close, it says Broncos. Done. And then right here, never give up. My 8-year-old granddaughter knows I never give up when it comes to the Broncos or the Avalanche or the Cubs. Jerry Jeudy was
I'm going to keep that on there forever.
Oh, my gosh. That is so classic. Let's see. Thanks, Dreamweaver said that's awesome. I told her I'd be doing it at the beginning of the show. I completely spaced out. I'm so glad I remembered. I looked over, happened to see the drawing. I would never be the same Papa. I would never be the same Papa. But that's a great way. It's a great way to end the show because it comes from the heart of my granddaughter. She copied that as best she could, or not copied it, but freelanced it as best she could. 8 years old. I thought it was so awesome. I didn't tell her what to put on there, but I love the fact that she put never give up. That is so, I tell her that all the time. Never give up. Okay.
Jerry Jeudy was a hoe.
And David talks, Broncos says, all my family hates Jerry Jeudy. Oh,
That's
that's
good.
cool. Do it for every show. That's cool. I like that. You know what I should
Wait,
do? Is
the
I
picture
should-
or the Jerry Judy was a hoe?
Oh. Well, you just blew my. I had a good feeling when David said, do it for every show. I'm thinking that'd be great. Show the thing. And I was about ready to say, can you put that in there so I could just hit the clip button and it pops up? And oh, see, now he says both. So there you go.
There we go. See?
You do. So we got the good, bad, and the ugly. Well, I don't know who's
I'm gonna have a
ugly,
lot
but-
of questions on Tuesday. What do you mean Jerry Judy was a hoe?
See, David says, I meant the drawing though.
Oh, okay.
Say,
I'm just asking. Maybe your granddaughter can draw another one and write Jerry Judy was a hoe on it.
she doesn't
then-
know what a
and then
hoe
just
is.
tell her
She
it's a-
doesn't know what a hoe is.
Just tell her it's a gardening tool.
I
We'll
can just
know
see-
what it means.
I can just see somebody grabbing Jerry Judy's legs and his head's going, the grass. Did I just embarrass myself?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so.
Let's move on.
That's probably a whole nother clip. coming
There,
up,
right
you
there.
guys.
There, boom.
What's that mean? Oh, laughing.
Well, I'm not even going to redo it because then I'm going to get me clipped. So no.
All right, guys, it's been fun. Mudungus, it's great to have you on the show as always. It started to turn into a neighborhood light, as in a full-on neighborhood, but it got kind of sideways a little bit. But it's always good when Mudungus is
usual.
in the chat, in the show. So it's great, guys. We have shows every single day of the week except Saturday and Sunday. Monday through Friday, you can catch the 5280 with Mudungus Creevy, Glenn Hauser, Cam, and Gage on Tuesday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The other shows as well. And you got Broncos Buzz, almost said breakdown. Broncos Buzz Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Spence might be back next week if his anniversary went well tonight and he's still with
We
us.
might have a second one.
Might have a second what?
If his anniversary went well tonight,
I
he might have
wasn't
another
going
one.
that way. Oh, you might have a second anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So he can have 2 more next week.
I thought you were talking about children. That's what I thought you were talking about. You know,
Listen, you can practice without the end result.
anyways, like I said, we have shows every single day coming up this week. Enjoy, pick out whichever one you like. Really do appreciate, guys. I'm going to go down really quick in the chat. We got David Yonkin. We got David Talks Broncos. Really love you guys being in the chat. Thank you so much. Clayton Huron, Jerry Judy was a hoe from MHRT Network. Oh, that's good. Way to
And
go.
now I'm in the chat.
Now you're in the chat.
I'm in the show and in the chat.
Oh
my
my
screen.
gosh. Richie Rich, thank you so much for being in. Chat, really do appreciate it. Anybody else I'm missing? Going down the list real quick. I don't believe so. Dreamweaver, thank you so much for popping in. Really do appreciate it. But MHRT Network, they're in the chat. Love it. This is Friday. I said Richie Rich, this is Friday. I'm talking about next Friday. Other shows. Hey, oh, yeah, Richie's show. I'm sorry. Wild Wild West is on Wednesdays, right, Mike?
What? Yeah.
Okay. Wild Wild West. Richie's show, Wild Wild West, which features a fan from every AFC West team: Broncos, Raiders, Broncos, and Chiefs.
And yes,
Richie
we
Rich
included the Chargers.
is the host. Make sure you check that out on Wednesdays.
We were able to track down a Chargers fan, the only one, but we were able to track him down.
How much did it cost you?
Not enough.
Doug, it's been great to have you. Thanks once again, guys. It's been an absolute joy every Friday. Clayton Huron, I did mention him. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate all of you being in the chat part of the show. Till next Friday, check out all the shows throughout the week. Catch my show next Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Till then, guys, say bye-bye, Mudungus.
Bye, Jerry Judy was
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might